D-A-D. D-A-D. What does that spell? It spells dad.
It did, and then it spelled daddy instead of daddy.
I'm extremely uncomfortable.
Well, congratulations to you on
Thanks.
being a baby daddy again. Congrats.
Thank you.
Don't sound too excited. Jesus.
It's you know. Aaron and I have a mutual friend, and he told me his wife was pregnant one time, and I went, "Oh," and he went, "Yeah." No. It's very exciting.
Yeah, congrats.
All right, that's more like it. Fucking up the excitement level at least 2 notches. Jesus.
Yes. A couple of all healthy ultrasounds, so feel a little more comfortable talking about it.
Great.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Good.
Oh, there's a baby crying. Awesome.
Yeah.
Guess what? That's in
what's
your
that?
future.
I know.
Yeah.
It's yeah.
One more thing. And for Ryan.
I was gonna say, can we? Yes.
It's still sinking in. You guys were the
promotion.
Besides my wife, of course. Promotion.
Promotion.
I'm going to be effective January 1st. The director of operations for half of the country.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
For
which
the
half?
The west half. Yeah.
Okay.
The best half. The lower half. Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
You know.
That's dope.
Yeah, it's crazy. There's going to be a lot of change, obviously, but I'm stoked. I can probably now work full time from home. I don't have to drive into an office.
That's cool.
I will officially not have any direct reports. My goal will be to strategically develop the most efficient way to get to our end goals for whatever those performance metrics.
I was going to say, is it profit? Is that an okay thing to say?
It sounds like some Six Sigma in there too. Like,
yeah,
that's awesome.
I'm stoked.
That's awesome, dude.
You have the right data analytics mind to.
Yeah. I was trying to kind of articulate that to my wife. I said, essentially, I'm looking at data. I am analyzing it and then regurgitating that to a large swath of people on what that means and what we need to do. And then developing the best way to get that done.
I mean, that is no small feat, though.
I'm very fortunate and thankful, and yeah.
How long have you been with this company?
Since 2008, August 13th, 2008 is when I first started.
There's nothing fortunate about that. That's the result of hard work and dedication being smart.
I've been, yeah. This may be cringe, but I'm like, Drake's song started from the bottom. Like that's my whole career with this company. Entry level to a technician to a people leader to then a leader of leaders, and now more of a strategic position. That's on the same plane as all the people that are in the executive leadership branch. I'm going to be part of all of those meetings, and like, it's wild. I'll probably be the only guy with really long hair too, so that's another feather in my cap.
Own it. You're also going to be the only one with a nationally broadcast, globally broadcast UFC comedy commentary podcast.
That's true.
Yeah, it was in my resume, just so you guys know.
As it should be.
Was it really?
No, it wasn't.
Okay, I was going to say.
It's time for the Pretty Neat Podcast.
right, real quick before we get into topical events, everybody look at my screen. Look how giant this Carlsberg is. That's
Yes.
that's 1,000 milliliters right there, or a liter.
I was gonna say, what is that in ounces? Here in America,
it's actually, if you go by the English system, it's 1 quart and 1.8 fluid ounces.
So a liter, is that 32?
48, 50,
48,
50, somewhere in there.
I originally got these for the immortal Cliff, who's going to be dog sitting tomorrow while we go to the most magical place on earth, because he's also a fan of Carlsberg. But I'm going to have one right now.
I can tell you honestly, I don't know that I've ever had a Carlsberg.
Danish style Pilsner.
You know what they say about the Danes?
They're very talented and they have huge hogs.
It's the second one that I was looking for. Thank you.
The hogs. The hogs is what really drives, or really I wouldn't say it grinds your gears, right? But it really revs your engine.
I think it would actually I think it would stop your gears entirely if we're just going, anatomically.
You, Ryan, are one of the founding trios, I think, of
I'm not a founding member, but
I think in a way you are.
In a way you are. Yeah, because you were commenting first, talking with us first, engaging with us first. You've been with us since the beginning.
I have been with you since the beginning. I've been in the shadows, and then I kind of pushed my way into something that developed into this.
Hey, some people listen, okay?
Yeah. If you're one of the some people listening, you should tell a friend and go to the prettyneatpodcast.com, subscribe everywhere. Tell them Ryan, Dom, and Aaron. That's us three. We talk about UFC and other pretty neat stuff every week. Sometimes we have fighters on, sometimes we have other guests on, just to kick it and talk shop. So yeah, tell everyone, join, comment, engage. We like talking to you. So do all those things. We're glad you're here. We had some stuff this week that we should probably talk about.
Definitely.
We have to start with Tyson Fury. I think
so.
That go ahead.
No, I was gonna say it was just an absolute beating of Derek Chisora. I mean, I'll watch the fight. I think we all watched the fight.
Oh yeah.
That probably, if Derek Chisora doesn't grab him and bring him to the ground in the second round, like that could have been the end of the fight. Instead, what he ended up doing was taking a massive beating for multiple rounds. I believe it went into round 10.
It did. Barely.
I can't believe that. I thought it was done in round 2. Just like you were talking about.
I mean, as soon as he grabbed him, because he hit him with that vicious uppercut, and he grabbed him and he brought him to the ground, and I was like, oh shit, did they just injure themselves? Like, what the fuck's gonna happen? And then fortunately, nobody's
that's a lot of man crashing to the ground.
Huge.
Tyson Fury is so fucking big.
Tyson Fury has the largest love handles of any man that I've ever seen.
I think at one point the commentator said he looks like a giant bag of dough.
I mean, it's not inaccurate, right?
It's not entirely insane. I agree.
And then to top it all off, the just excellent trash talking at the end of the fight with Alexander Usyk.
Yeah.
And Usyk coming in, and you just see the size disparity. And then his class after the fact and thanking him for coming up, which was excellent. And then he, what tripped me out was like, yeah, I might fight Wilder for a 4th time. Like, okay. I mean, I would watch that for sure. We got to see the Usyk fight first, but I would see a Wilder Fury 4. That would be excellent.
Yeah, I would too.
And I honestly, I don't think Usyk has anything for Fury. And Dom, you were saying that in our group chat. I don't know what he could do.
Yeah, I don't know. I love that Tyson Fury calls Anthony Joshua the bodybuilder. I don't understand what. I think the line would be pretty heavily tilted towards Tyson. It seems like he's going to fight the other guy that was standing next to Usyk first, maybe something Joyce.
Joe Joyce.
That's right.
Joe Joyce has been around for a while, and I think he's in his late 30s.
Well, to that point, Derek Chisora has been around for a long time too. Him and Fury have fought 2 other times. There was one point in I want to say the 4th or the 5th round where Chisora put both of his arms down and had to hold on to the rope. Did you guys see that?
Yes.
And Tyson just kind of stood there. And I actually think Tyson Fury was maybe holding back a little bit. I do think he respects Derek Chisora, and I think his wife and his kid, Chisora's wife and kids were there, and it's like you're just watching him get fucking clubbed. What? And then it looked like he wasn't going to get off the stool after the 9th.
No.
And I thought for sure the ref was going to stop it. And then he's like, all right, you take one more combo, as if we needed to see one more. It just showed the level Tyson Fury is at, man. It just showed. And I actually think he's a weird example of, if he was in shape like Anthony Joshua, I don't think he'd be as good. I think he gets something out of that.
Yeah.
Just the doughiness, like in terms of like stamina or ability to absorb punishment.
Something. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's used to moving with it, right? He carries it around all the time. So he's conditioned that way. I don't know.
Is that like, you're talking about like fat man strength because they have to carry around all that weight? They're just naturally strong because
if you look at those strong men, those guys are not ripped.
No,
and they pull a fucking semi truck. Like with their nose. So, it just shows you how much better than everyone else Tyson Fury is. Alexander Usyk looked so small standing in front of him. I don't see how that works. For Usyk is very skilled. I just think Usyk is a bad matchup for Joshua. I think Joshua gives Fury more trouble than Usyk does. Not that I think Joshua would beat him. I just think he gives him more trouble.
Just because of his size?
His size and his serious power. I mean, the reason I'm not interested in a Tyson Fury Deontay Wilder 4 is, even though we've seen Tyson Fury take Deontay Wilder's literal best shot and get up and beat the shit out of him still multiple times, you're only taking so many of those Deontay Wilder blasts before one of them puts you out. And they have fought for 12, 7, and 8 or 9. We've seen them fight damn near 40 rounds now. Like, it's very clear who the better fighter is. I don't need to see it again. Tyson Fury can make all the money fighting anyone else he wants. They packed fucking 70,000 people into Tottenham Hotspur's, I think they call it White Hart Lane, in 40-degree weather. Like, he doesn't need the money. If he's gonna fight in Allegiant Stadium in Vegas, like he said, I guess Wilder makes sense, but I think you have no trouble packing that place if he's fighting Usyk in Vegas. I don't think that's a problem at all. So,
do they do the fight in Vegas?
Well, Fury, no, not against Usyk, I don't think. But Fury said he wants to fight at Allegiant. But who cares? Give me the noon start time ESPN Plus Tyson Fury fight all day.
Let him fight in Ngannou in Vegas.
Okay, so after watching that fight on Saturday, do either of you think Francis has a fucking prayer against Tyson Fury?
It would be hard. He would. I don't. It would be really hard.
What would be hard
for Francis? He'd do anything. He'd
get the shit boxed out.
It'd be tough. He would. It would. I'd want to see it. I'd want to see it, but it would still just be a Fury one-sided thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's never going to happen. But
I also enjoyed watching Fury's dad yell at one of the Paul brothers, which there was a video of that was really fun.
Yeah, I would not be.
Fury's dad could probably beat the shit out of any of them.
I would not be on the list to fight anybody from that family. I think Jake would beat Tommy or Huey, whichever one. But
Tommy,
that's neither here nor there.
Huey, Dewey.
Huey, Dewey, and Tyson.
The opposite of Runt.
Tyson Fury is as skilled. The fact that ESPN has him 6th in their pound for pound rankings is a fucking joke. But
yeah, it's gonna be fun either way. I enjoyed the fight. It was a fun to watch, especially because it was early. Before we get into the other recap things, though, while we're on boxing, I think this is ode to one very important referee in the boxing world.
Yeah.
Judge Mills. The eternal respect of distance for Mills Lane.
Yeah. The afterlife said, I'll allow him.
Yep. And here's your stool. The Angels threw in the towel for that one, that's for sure.
His full name, you're gonna think I'm making this up. Mills B E Lane the Third. I'm sorry, that's the greatest name of all time.
That's a pretty great name.
He is in fact our name champion sort of running power rankings that we do is now called the Mills Lane Award.
Okay. I like
also,
that.
He was the referee for sort of the second most famous thing. The thing he's second most known for is the Mike Tyson Evander Holyfield ear bite. And of course, Celebrity Deathmatch.
Oh yeah, gotta love Celebrity Deathmatch. One more Phoenix song for, I guess, my favorite fighter who's retired from MMA now. TJ Dillashaw. Retiring from the sport of MMA after cheating his way to the top. Peace out. That's way fun. I think that was the only, I got the little fart at the end. It was perfect. I think that was the old, there was another retirement over this card during this past card. Clay Guida. Yeah, Scott Holtzman, who fought
Scott
Clay Guida.
Hot sauce.
Yeah. Holtzman also retired. Why not, Scott? Hey. You on this day, Mills Lane, TJ Dillashaw, and Scott Holtzman, who thought that nobody expected the Phoenix song trifecta like that. But props to Clay Guida, though, because that was he looked good for being a freaking 40-year-old caveman Jesus in there beating people up.
His cardio knows no bounds. It's the only thing that looked really different is like he cut his hair and it's starting to thin, and otherwise he's providing the same amount of pressure and just takedown ability as he always has the last 10, 15 years. Starting to thin. It is majorly thinning. I'm trying to be kind to the man.
Yeah. As kind as you can be, but come on.
We're starting to thin.
I liked it. The whole card was really good, aside from
it was an entertaining card.
It really was. Yasmin Yarigui from Mexico, or Yarigui, I'm not sure how to say that. She looked great. Then Francis Marshall, who's like the gonna be a weird prospect here. Apparently he's like came by himself to like all of the press events. He like was like, where do I go? You know, you over here. Like he has no team. He's quiet, very reserved, and then just turns into a fucking monster.
And then he beat the fuck out of Marcelo Rojo.
Oh my God, total domination. And he looked young though. He's got to tighten up some stuff before.
He's like 23 or 24.
And then Israel's Natan Levy had a decision.
That was dominant. He had him every which way, and then when he started grappling, you're just like, he's got nothing.
Yeah. And then Darren Elkins was the last favorite to win, like of the last.
No, he didn't win.
Sorry, to lose. He was the last dog to lose. Of almost every remaining fight. Almost every fight after that went to the dogs. I mean, Darren looked like Darren.
Yeah, he did damage shit.
Yep, he did. I'm surprised he didn't retire, but hey, I'll watch him every time. Michael Johnson win column against Mark Diakese, and he was not expected to win that.
Dude, he stuffed all of his fucking takedowns.
All of them.
And Diakese, every time he came in, Johnson had like the best counter for him. One shot, two shots, combinations, and just stuck to that game plan. And Duquessis started getting tired and would shoot. And he would sprawl, go right back to that standing, and he
snuffed.
He nullified him. That was a great showing by Michael Johnson, and I don't think we really expected that.
Agreed.
No. The aforementioned Clay Guida had his victory. He also just looked good. Angela Overkill Hill looked great. I mean,
we haven't seen her win in a little bit, have we?
No.
She's been taking on tough fights, but at the same time, Emily Ducati was like a rising prospect.
Number 13.
And she looked like shit against Angela Hill. I mean, like, no joke. Like, she just didn't get anything off. She was standing there, quote unquote, like taking pictures, and Angela Hill just put it on her.
Yeah.
It looked a little bit better in the third round for Ducati in terms of her ability to get off some offense. But at that point in time, unless she was going to knock out Angela Hill, it was a loss.
Yeah.
And it was disappointing for her. Not to mention I picked her in fantasy to win. So I was kind of pissed off. But Angela Hill, who I also really like, I was reading the tea leaves. Like, I was like, she's losing against top tier competition. And Ducati is on the rise, I thought. So I picked Ducati to win, and I was wrong.
I think Angela, she's going to be a prospect breaker.
So Angela Hill moves to 12th now. Ducati moves to 14. And maybe I am wrong, to your point, Ryan, about Angela Hill. So she beat March 13th. She beats Ashley Yoder. Loses to is that Tisha Torres in August 2021.
Yeah, that Aaron called that one. He said that Tisha was going to win that fight.
Yep. Loses to Amanda Lemos. Loses to both of Verna Yandarova's eyes. And that goes March of 21 to May of 22. So she fought fucking 4 times basically in 14 months. Beat Lupe Godinez back in August of this year, and then beats. So who knows? I mean, women's strawweight is so like anything could happen. They're not beating Zhang Wei Li, but would you be shocked if Angela Hill beat Rose or Carla?
Not shocked.
You'd be surprised.
I could see Angela beating Carla. I don't see her beating Rose, but I also think you have
anyone can beat
Rose prejudice. Yeah, exactly. There we go.
Hey,
she shouldn't be able to beat her, but she could.
I definitely think she could. I really do. I think she kind of fills the Roxanne Modafferi void, frankly, of like, if you're a professional, you better put up against Angela, just like you did against Roxanne. But Roxanne will beat you on any given day. Like she the right day, the right momentum behind her, she could do it. She just has that experience.
What's next for
Angela? I don't know. I didn't really think too far. Especially because Nico Price and Phil Rowe was after that. And Phil Rowe, and I mean, congrats to him. He looked great. What a war. Nico did what he did, and he got hit too much.
So that was also the first fight for Nico in like almost 2 years, right?
Yep. Good amount of time.
He had one knee that was totally cleaned up, and then I think he had the other knee operated on as well. So he started to come on in the third round, but Phil Rowe, he just had too much of a gap on him.
Yeah.
Phil Rowe looked good.
He was the third dog in a row.
This is a fun set of fights, man.
Then that Eric Anders Kyle Dawkins fight, and Eric Anders, I mean, just put it on him. Just
your boy looked good.
Yep, your boy Eric Anders looked fantastic. Then the next dog, Roman Dolidze.
What is the deal with? I'm sorry to go back. Hang on, Aaron. What's the deal with Eric Anders? Doesn't he have some sort of story?
Yeah, he played for the national championship
Alabama,
winning.
right?
He played for Alabama in
That's
2008. Right. He in the championship game he had a ball out game.
Yeah,
he lost to the Iron Turtle. Look at that.
He did. I mean, he also did lose the Iron Turtle, but I mean, what we have here is a clear pedigree of just athletic prowess that he's just turned into fighting MMA. And while he has a lot of power and he's got a lot of heart, he's got good cardio, he's not the most diverse talent. So you see him get beat by people that are really grappling heavy, like the Iron Turtle.
Yeah. Thiago Santos. Let's see. Yeah. Yep. Jotko, Yuri Jotko, another one. Yep. Yeah, you're exactly right.
Yeah. So the 2009 BCS National Championship game against Texas, he had 7 tackles, which led the team, and a forced fumble. He had a cup of coffee with the Cleveland Browns. The thing is, like,
middleweight is
no. What I was gonna say, like that level of to Ryan's point, rather, that level of athleticism, like Aaron, I don't know if you know this, they don't just let anyone play linebacker at the University of Alabama. That's not
they
not
don't?
a thing.
They don't have walk-ons there?
No, they don't have walk-ons.
They don't just let the tide roll.
They don't. And if you're playing defense for Nick Saban, whew,
yeah.
So that's real deal shit from him, and it's not shocking that he's had some success in a contact sport.
And I think your boy will be around for a long time. Okay?
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, middleweight's an unwinnable circumstance, but
yeah, he'll be around. I think he'll be kind of a career guy. He's been in for 5 years.
Also, wouldn't you say middleweight is an area where it's super top heavy and people can just grind out a career like long term in middleweight? Because
yes,
what the
he
fuck
he will have a career a la Kelvin Gastelum.
Yeah.
Or the Action Man, but he's not going to win the title.
Yeah. I could see just going right into the next fight too. Like I could see Eric fighting Jack Hermanson next. I think that would be an interesting spot for Eric to be in a higher spot.
Let's talk about that, because you would say that I would say not seeing Jack Hermanson's fight against Delidze, that Hermanson would just eat him up.
Yeah,
but what Delidze did to him in a grappling exchange, and put him in a position where he couldn't do anything. Goddamn thing.
He paralyzed him.
He could not do a goddamn thing. I have never seen somebody hit a switch into a calf slicer from a rear mounted position and just it's a TKO win because Jack Hermanson could not get out of the position. I've never seen that in the UFC.
No, he used the same types of like mechanisms that Khabib and like those guys use in terms of tying up people's legs and pinning their legs to the ground, but he did it with one leg. Like just like the way he had to stabilize the center of gravity just to not let Jack fucking turn his hip. That's wild. But props to Roman Delidze. I think that's very exciting for middleweight.
Performance of the night bonus for him.
Yeah. Not that we would see like a Delidze Khamzat type fight anytime soon, but you know,
this is just what we do. Any interesting 170 or 185, we're like, yeah, give him to Khamzat.
Yeah,
see what happens.
Yeah. You know what we should do with Sergey Pavlovich?
Stay out of his way.
Give him to Khamzat.
He would kill Khamzat.
Yeah, he would.
There's talk. There's some serious talk that he gave Tai Tuivasa like permanent scar damage on his scars on his face with the deep cuts that he provided in under a round of just violence.
Under a minute.
Yeah.
How could he not have done that?
I mean, did you look at his face? Just like what Ty's face looked like?
It was bad. Oh, it was bad.
And here's another one that I totally underestimated what Sergey did because of what I would consider to be a somewhat early stoppage against Derek Lewis. And I was like, well, we don't know. And Ty is proven to be very tough given his last fight against Cyril Gahn. and then he went out there and just washed him.
Yeah. Look at that. His debut in the UFC was against Alistair Overeem, which he lost at the end of the first round.
Yeah,
Still though, heard of him?
Undefeated since then, which by the way, that was in November of 2018. So
well, I don't think he fought in like over a year, right?
Yeah. If we go through there, his next fight,
damn, look at that.
April,
over 3 years. Almost 3 years.
October of 19. He then went on hiatus until March of 2022.
Holy shit.
But man, still in the win column. I want to see him fight Cyril Gane. That's what I want.
No, Cyril Gane's going to fight John Jones.
You think so?
Yes.
Okay.
And I think that's the only guy on the roster with a fucking prayer of beating John Jones. Just stylistically. I'm not saying I think Cyril's going to. Yeah. Unless Francis resigns, in which case then Cyril, is maybe open. I think Pavlovich, they have him rated third. I think that's a little high. Either that or maybe Cyril Gane Curtis Blades is happening. I don't know. It just depends on John Jones and Francis. So
yeah, it does. But what a slobber knocker that was. One-way action. Sergey knocks out Tai Tuivasa in less than a minute.
How much more do we see out of Tai?
I think if he loses 2 more, he'll walk, depending on his contract. But I think if he gets back in the win column, we'll see him until he's done. And I don't think he'll go to another organization.
Okay. God, you know what he would do to the heavyweights in PFL?
Be interesting.
Yeah, I guess.
Would he do? Would he get on the same substances?
Well, I don't think Tai takes steroids.
I don't either. He might have to.
I think Tai drinks beer.
I do too. Speaking of that, all of us are going to take a sip at the same time. Then we get flyweights in an exciting bout, which was the only favorite to it looks like there was a couple of favorites that come in there.
That was
one of few.
I think Sergey was the end of the streak of 6 underdogs to win, which they said on the broadcast, right? Amidst this betting investigation against the UFC.
Oh, we're going to talk about it.
Oh yeah.
That a $100 parlay for that 6 underdog, $100,
$42,000.
Yeah, $43,000 you would have won had you bet on the 6 dogs in a row to win that streak.
And like the thing is that like 4 of those 6 were coin flips. Like they were, I think it could have happened maybe for one person. I think that Matt Schnell getting TKO'd was not expected. But it happened.
That's how he fights though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Risk take. Close it up at the end.
That's the one where he was on his back and hitting him and then the referee stopped it. Yeah, I never think it's an early stoppage. That one felt maybe a touch early, but not the end of the world.
He puts himself in wars. His fucking nickname is Danger. That's how he fights. So what we really found out was that Mateos is very, very skilled and a step up in competition.
Yes.
He showed nothing less than what he's already shown.
Yeah. That'd be fun. I like a new flyweight prospect.
Mateus moves up to 5. Flyweight kind of secretly interesting.
Yeah, I want to see him fight. I want to see him fight your boy, Dom. I want to see him fight Manel Kopp. Yeah,
it's funny you say that. I was just looking at Manel Kopp's profile. So what happened? So he fought the deepfake Zalmagulov, December of 21, but he's had a couple of fights fall off for whatever reasons.
Well, did he pull out of his last fight or not? I feel like
he was supposed to fight at 275 to Shara Prohaska and did not, and I don't know why. Now, Mateus Nicolau beat Manel Kopp in Kopp's second UFC fight. I did not know that.
Oh,
okay. Well, that could just be
that
could be something that's.
And Manel Kopp has also lost to Pantoja in his first fight, and then Manel has won his last 2. So God, welcome to the UFC. Here's the number, now the number 2 and number 5 guy we have in your division. Fuck you, Manel Kopp. We like Manel Kape.
Fuck you.
Has he fought Kai?
But not really.
He has not fought anyone. No, I'm saying on this show we like Manel Kape. The UFC doesn't like him apparently.
I think no. I like Manel Kape. I think he's really talented.
Yeah. I think he should beat someone like Matt Schnell or Alex Perez, then fight Nicolau or Royval or Kai Kara-France. That's
That'd be good. I like that. Nice. Flyweight, sort it out. UFC, get it done. Thank you for attending.
That one is free. The next ones are not.
No. Rafael dos Anjos, however you want to say it. Come on, he beat Brian Barberena pretty hard.
We'll just call him RDA. This was never a fucking competition.
No.
You were so clear about that last week, and I was just like, I didn't realize you felt that strongly about RDA.
Like this was never a competition. Brian Barberena, who had massive size advantage over RDA, was so overmatched in terms of skill.
Yes, he was
so overmatched. Like RDA just had to be like, okay, I'm going to take you down now, and it's over. That's all that had to happen. The only chance that Barberena had was to turn it into a standing slugfest, which we saw. Not a slugfest, but in the main event, that's what it turned into.
Yeah.
Whereas like there was a clear advantage. RDA just was like, hey man, I can take you down whenever I want to. And I like RDA's call out. I think he should fight McGregor.
I do too.
I think they should fight at 170.
That's the missing fight. They were
I think they
supposed
should
to
fight it. I think they should fight.
They were supposed to fight for the belt. Like if RDA's foot hadn't had problems, McGregor never would have fought Chad Mendes for the interim belt. Like that fight was the belt fight for McGregor to get it for the first time, and it never happened. So I'm for it. I like it.
I don't think I knew that.
McGregor's gotten so big too, so he's gonna fight at welterweight.
He's not on PEDs.
So
he's not.
I mean,
according to him, and
yeah, and RDA's ranked.
He's on that good protein, creatine combo.
Yeah.
And RDA's ranked, so it would keep Conor relevant. But
you're saying at 170,
but RDA's ranked at 155. He's not ranked at welterweight.
Shit. Well,
that doesn't matter though. Conor is ranked at 155, so just move them both up. It's fine.
They could market that, the fight that never was.
No, and hearing you explain it that way, I'm on board. It is getting weird where everybody just walks to the microphone and is like, I want to fight Conor. It's a way safer fight for Conor than Michael Chandler. I'll say that.
Yeah, and I think this would be a better alternative for Conor too, especially if he was going to fight at 170. But hey, that takes us into the main event of the evening. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson defeats Kevin Holland after round 4 because Holland's corner threw in the towel.
I have not seen that happen in the UFC. I can't remember the last time I saw a corner throw in the towel.
I was thinking the same thing where they were like, you know what, we're done. Where they looked back at the ref and was like, no, we're done.
Out. Yep. His hand's busted. It's broken in like 5 places. He's gonna have surgery.
You guys know I'm a proponent of that, right? People forget in Fury Wilder 2, Wilder quit on the stool. His corner threw in the towel. People don't remember that because of how crazy the knockout in Fury Wilder 3 was. But I think, to me, that's more honorable than letting someone just fucking kill you. Like, know when it's not your day. Pack it in. It's fine. We see this in every other sport, right? They bring the first baseman to start pitching. We see the 15th man on the bench in the NBA. We see the Rams' current roster. Just throw it in. It's fine. And for Kevin Holland, like, you got too much life in front of you to let this guy just fucking work you like this. That liver kick was so vicious.
And some of those like crescent kicks that he threw too were so fast
and technical.
And like he landed a few of them with Kevin Holland too, whether he broke it punching or blocking, probably a combination of both. I think Thompson's face and Holland's broken hand makes sense because Thompson wore that fight a lot worse than Kevin Holland did. Thompson got his face was battered by the end of that thing, and Thompson looked fine. But
in terms of his face, yeah.
Yeah, but he was
Thompson,
getting pieced
No,
up.
no,
It
no.
didn't matter.
Holland got pieced up and Thompson looked fine.
Yeah. Oh, Holland looked fine.
No,
but he
Holland's
got
face
pieced
looked
up.
okay. Thompson's face was a bit busted up, but that's a testament more so
To the power.
to the power of Holland
Yeah.
and what he was throwing in the strikes. He said it and he was correct. His right hand was a game changer. The problem was we don't know when it happened, but he broke 3 bones in his right hand and he couldn't throw it.
Yep.
And that probably also impacted his ability to grapple as well. His corner said, like, in the 3rd round, hey, we need you to
make it MMA
actually
fight.
make it an MMA fight. Exactly. We need you to make it an MMA fight, take him down. You know, we can actually have a strong advantage. I mean, they said it multiple times. This guy's a black belt under Travis Lutter. That's impressive. And he didn't fucking use it once.
Yeah.
Which tells you maybe his hand was hurt when he got in there.
Potentially.
That or he is so like, I just want to have a really good fight and make this a kickboxing match. Which on one hand we're like, okay,
it's a long day at work against Stephen Thompson.
Yeah, against a guy who's
though
coming in and out and throwing switch kicks, spinning, spinning back kicks and landing with immense accuracy. His ability to go in and out, and then when he was countering, he would go directly back to directly in with a left hand and hit every time. That is dangerous. And that's something that leads me to believe that, Kevin Holland probably won't do this for a long time because he has that mentality of, I want to have fun, exciting fights. I'm not trying to just win.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of fun, exciting fights, I would love to see Michelle Pajeda and Stephen Thompson. That's the fight
I don't think that's the right fight.
Well, the thing is, like, Thompson's not going to take that fight, right? Because Pajeda's not in the rankings that way.
Yeah, what's Holland ranked? What's Thompson ranked now?
Well, he was what, 5?
He's 6th, and Michelle Pajeda is 14th.
He's not going to take that fight.
No,
he's
not after
he's
fighting.
not going to take that fight. And the thing is, like, if he wants to have fights where he's able to show his skill, aka stand-up fighter versus stand-up fighter, who's he going to fight?
Michelle Pajeda.
Give him Jorge.
They've already fought.
So,
hey, that'd be a good rematch though, because I'm pretty sure Steven knocked him out, or at least definitively defeated him in a UD. And I believe that was right before Jorge had his big, epiphany on that show.
On baptizing people?
Yeah, like that was Thompson was the one that triggered that. Like, why am I here? So that actually might be really fun, I think. Well, that does it for the recap.
No. There's one more.
What is it?
Did you guys watch this fucking Russian monster, Anatoly Malikin, on ONE FC on Amazon Prime on Friday night?
I didn't watch it. I heard that he just walked through his opponent. So elaborate, enlighten us on this.
Dude. So ONE FC is weird. I don't know if I liked it because like the co-main was a grappling match. I'm trying to pull up the other guy. I'm sorry. It was between these Rotolo brothers who, or sorry, one of the two of them, although both of them were on the card. And why is it not giving me all of his fights? That's annoying. And so that was interesting-ish, but really it was 10 minutes kind of nothing. The grappling match before that. So then René de Radier, speaking of the Dutch, he's from the Netherlands. I am assuming a real pipe on this guy. Just a fucking hog. Okay. He had gone submission, TKO, sub, technical sub, KO, decision, sub, technical sub over the last 10 years. Never lost to anyone in his life. And then this Malakin guy gets in there and just annihilates him. And ONE FC, they have like their sort of alternate reality version of Dana White. I don't know if you guys have ever seen him. It's like, dude, I don't know what don't do that. You're annoying me. But this Derridier guy who was flat out unconscious on the mat when the broadcast ended.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was bad. And this Malakin guy was untouched. And the whole thing took, I mean, it went 4.5 minutes, but it really didn't go 4.5 minutes. It was aggressive. He's only 5'11". They have him weighing in at 265. I'm almost certain he weighed 223. It got me thinking, like, in light heavyweight, I don't think he's hearing a peep out of anybody in the UFC.
No. Dang.
I think he club and sub, except just the club part. Although he has 8 knockouts and 3 submissions. He's 11-0 in his career. I think Yuri Prohaska, Teixeira, Blachowicz. I don't think any of these guys have anything for him.
Damn.
Yeah. Pretty impressive.
I got to get on the PFL train then. Shit. Or ONE FC.
ONE FC, yeah.
More on it. I know that Johnson Moraes 4 is going to happen. So that'll be cool.
And it's the first time they've ever had a fight in the United States.
Yeah.
And it looks like it's Johnson Moraes 3. They're 1-1.
3. Yeah. That'll be dope. I'm excited. Was that all of them then? Was that the recap? Recapped. Well, before we dive into the PNP picks for UFC 282, we got to change the name of this thing.
Yeah.
It's no longer the Dom Dome.
What is it, Aaron? Tell the people.
What did we come up with? I don't have it with me in front of me.
It's the Sanctum of Truth.
Yes, this is going to be known as the Sanctum
The
of
Dom
Truth.
Dome is also known as the Sanctum of Truth.
The Sanctum of Truth.
All are welcome.
All are welcome. We are a welcoming place. If you are open-minded, so are we. It's red wine tonight, gentlemen. And there is some my lovely wife makes a better version, because I mean, granted, it's not hard. There's I keep wanting to say Chipotle. Cheesecake Factory makes a chicken chipotle pasta.
Okay.
And she does a much better version of that. That's on the stove tonight. There's red wine everywhere, local and from New Zealand. Again, smoking only in designated areas. And all I ask is that you are open to the truth.
Welcome to
if you
the
are open to
Sanctum.
the truth, all are welcome here. Whatever your creed or orientation may be.
Yeah.
We are loyal to the truth.
That is true.
Almost sounds like a secret society.
It's not a cult.
Sanctum of Truth.
It's not a cult.
Mm-mm.
No, I said
shirts.
secret society, not a cult.
It's kind of a cult.
We need shirts. We need shirts for our cult.
you got to be a 5-year member of the cult. The group to get a shirt.
Yes. In this, while we're in the inner sanctum today,
I've allowed you both in. Welcome.
Thank you. I mean, it's awesome in here.
How do you find the humidity?
These robes are warm.
The robes are warm. Yes, we warm the robes. That's right. Yours is monogrammed, right?
Yeah, it's got my new initials on it.
Yes, it does.
I love it. I want one. AH right there. On this segment in the Sanctum of Truth, is that how we do it? Is it? I don't know.
Sure. Yeah, I like it.
Let's talk about James Krause and all the betting and gambling and shit mayhem. Half of Canada can't bet on UFC right now because their commissions are worried about fucking fight fixing.
Yep.
And
on top of that, a local promotion in Missouri has banned James Krause as well from participating in the events. And fun fact is that local promotion used to use his name to promote the events.
Really?
Because
I
he
didn't
is
know
from
that.
Missouri. That came out today.
I knew he was from Missouri. I
Wow.
didn't know about the promotion part.
They banned him from participating in any of the events, which is
Wow.
fucking wild. As I said, he's getting the full Pete Rose right now.
There must be a level of depth and like nefariousness to this that like we're not seeing, or at least that I'm not seeing.
No, I would argue we are seeing it. We are seeing it without anyone saying it. This reaction has been so aggressive for a coach that no one had ever heard of, right? Am I wrong about that?
I mean, outside of the diehards like us, I mean, we knew of James Krause. We knew what he was doing at Glory MMA. He's an up-and-coming coach.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm not actually disagreeing with you. I will allow that in the sanctum of truth. The issue is we are seeing, this is the UFC admitting that this is like an actual massive fucking problem without saying it. This is what happens. We see this. So like years ago, right? Reggie Bush and fucking sideways Pete Carroll at USC win the national title. It turns out Reggie Bush's family had a very expensive house that nobody could really figure out how they paid for. He wins the Heisman. He's one of the best college football players who's ever lived. They level USC's program, level it. They literally, it has taken them damn near 15 years to recover. This is what we're seeing, except it's an individual and whatever fighters are attached to him.
Yeah. I'm curious about where the nefarious is now. Like he's not betting against his own fighters.
It doesn't matter. He's passing insider information to people who are betting on or against his fighters. It doesn't matter.
That's true.
If he's betting on his own fighters. I used to not think this about Pete Rose. They would say he'd never bet against the Reds. It doesn't matter. He has influence over whether they win or lose. We have to protect the competitive integrity of the game. I think Pete Rose should have been allowed to bet on football. There was also some controversy about that. He has no influence over football, bet away. But you cannot bet on games, because even if Pete Rose is going to know things about, say the Atlanta Braves are in town to play the Cincinnati Reds, he's going to know things about the Braves lineup, because what we have to remember is all these people know each other. Yeah. All these coaches, all these fighters, they're all connected. They've all trained together. They know someone who trained with that guy who's now attached to the network gets pretty small.
Yeah.
And so he has insider information. He's making crazy money on his Discord server where he gives betting advice.
Yep. And he charges $50 a month.
Should we say that you said, Aaron, that it was speculated that he was making $25K a month on his Discord?
Lord. That's if 10% of his Discord members are paying for the service.
Let's say it's 5. He's making 12.5 grand a month just on a Discord.
Yeah.
That's pretty fucking good.
That's pretty fucking good, right?
Yeah. And like I feel like, this guy, if he wasn't working in it, he'd just be a fucking betting genius. He'd get out there. He can read. No, he wouldn't.
Right. Okay. And so in your version of reality, which I am now ejecting you from the sanctum of truth.
Oh no.
Nancy Pelosi's husband has never engaged in insider trading, right? He's just the best stock investor of all time.
Why do you think they won't pass any laws? Of course he has.
So Krause is not a genius bettor. He has insider information.
But I also
and at this level,
he has an advantage.
And at this level, the margins are razor thin. So if you know that guy's pinky finger is compromised, his opponent has an advantage.
It's enough.
So when you say he's just a genius gambler, he's not, because if he wasn't the coach connected the way he is, he wouldn't know 99% of the shit he knows. Max Griffin said as much on the show.
Yeah, he's got he's like the what's his name? Varies. He has birds.
Oh, from Game of Thrones?
Yeah, he has little birds,
absolutely.
if you will.
Lord Varys.
And that's
Lord Varys.
The eunuch.
Little birds. Yeah.
Yeah.
He has no dick, but he's got birds.
He lost his balls, I thought.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. He's got no balls, but he's got birds.
Yeah. But so like that all makes sense. If I know somebody at a gym and I know somebody's compromised and they're keeping it on the down low, yeah, sure. But like the same sort of stuff can happen wherein that fighter with a broken pinky can tell his sister who has a cousin who knows somebody who's connected to James Krause. That has nothing to do with it being insider. It's just there was something there and it became known. The problem is he knows way more than everybody else, right? So
it's one of the problems. Yeah.
Does he have an advantage?
Yes.
Like,
well,
because
I don't know. Have we
more?
seen what his gambling record is?
He's not. Oh, from what I know,
we know specifically what that is.
They're great, but like, he's not obtaining like private information that's being withheld secretly by a doctor.
He sure is, because he knew about Derek Minner's injury.
Right. And that's the thing, is like, that's the biggest thing is, the doctors checks whatever they're doing pre-fight.
Yeah.
Unless you're saying you're visibly disclosing this information, like, yes, I am hurt.
Mm-hmm.
You're going through that, and the fighter, who we all know, most fighters are trying to prevent their fight from being canceled. They need the money.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That's the other
they
big
need
problem.
The money. So
they don't make.
They're like, yeah, no, I'm fine. When the doctor has to go off of feedback from the patient, and the patient says, yeah, that feels fine. Okay, you're good to go. You're cleared to fight. When in reality is, like, I tore my ACL and I'm gonna lose this fight for sure. And then hypothetically is, all right, so how do we maximize the situation? All right, we know you're fucking hurt. You're not gonna win this fight. This guy doesn't win by knockout.
Yeah.
Let's bet on a first round knockout, because that's a huge prop
for you to lose. Yeah.
Right. And then we'll just cut you in on some of that money so that we can help pay for your medical bills and your time that you're going to be away from not fighting and making any type of income.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. Aaron, if you walked up to the sports book counter at the MGM Grand, for example, and you said, hey, I want to, and I'm literally going to make this up off the top of my head. And you said, hey, I want to put $50,000 on the
so many flags would go up.
Pittsburgh Steelers to beat the Atlanta Falcons, and the Steelers are gonna that was last week. On whatever the fuck. I want the Jets to beat the Buffalo Bills, and they're gonna cover the spread, or I want that plus the over, and I want to put 50 grand. They're gonna be like, I'm sorry, your 50 grand is no good here because we've never seen you before, and that is an oddly specific bet.
Yeah.
And then, 8 hours after the bet, it turns out, Josh Allen's knee fell off. Well, Josh Allen is the Bills quarterback. Okay. You knew that. You clearly knew that because you wouldn't do that otherwise.
Yeah. In which case the fight was fixed in a sense.
His knee fell off.
It wasn't fixed in terms of how.
You're not wrong about that. It was the fight is the integrity of it is compromised. Yes.
The integrity is compromised. Yes. So it is more or less fixed. Yeah. So that type of shit, no, not going to happen. But if somebody's been watching fights for 20 years and engaging with fighters for 20 years and they have friends in camps, if they're not working in the camp, yeah, I should let them bet. Problem is they work in the camp.
Right.
And I mean, Derek Minner's going to make $5 grand. He's going to owe a quarter of it at least to his team.
Mm-hmm.
And if he knows he's going to lose and he needs money, that's a great way to find it in a different way. Probably.
Well, there's, examples of this littered around professional sports. Aaron, do you know who Tim Donaghy is?
Everywhere. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the NBA ref.
Yep.
Yeah. It's the same thing. The NBA, he literally went to prison. The idea that he was the only ref doing it is insane.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea that James Krause is the only coach doing this is insane. This is the UFC telling all these other coaches, fuck around and find out.
Yeah. And I mean, Krause on Ariel Helwani even at one point talked about how he made fucking rags compared, like coaching, he makes dog shit compared to gambling. Gambling's his main source of income, then Discord, then the rest. But yeah. Hey, we're going to see how it goes. Pending investigation, as long as we get Brandon Moreno back. That's like my only big concern is like Moreno is going to stand by him, I guess. So
yeah, that's weird. And he's supposed to fight next month, right?
Yeah.
And that's the thing, is that they announced that anybody coached by James Krause wouldn't be allowed to compete. So what the fuck? Like, they would have to get this thing figured out this month. They're not going to have somebody that is a interim title holder not fight, right?
They're going to let Moreno fight.
Who knows how like stubborn Moreno's going to be? Like, no, he's innocent. I'm going to stay with him.
No, they're going to the difference here. Well,
they'll make him.
It would be the ultimate. Hey, we're serious about this if they cancel that fight or forced Moreno to step away from James Krause, because you could make the argument that between him and Figueiredo, it's so high profile for the organization. All of their fights have been very close. It is not clear which of the two of them is better. So assuming everyone is healthy, maybe you give them both a deeper medical check going into the fight week or whatever. But if the UFC does their due diligence, I don't know.
Doesn't that feel like they're just not taking a hardline stance, which is kind of what the assumption is right now?
Well, I'm saying if they do that, I don't know that they're going to do that. There's a long time between now and January 21st where they can figure this out. But as we've seen in recent history with the fucking Khamzat Nate Diaz fiasco, and this week where we have a interim title fight between two guys no one cares about because Yuri Prohaska's shoulder fell apart. Like,
title fight, not even interim.
That's right. Yeah. Fight. Sorry. Just for the vacant title. So whoever wins won't be undisputed, I suppose. But it's a strange, they find themselves in a position they don't want to be in.
Yeah.
And it'll be interesting to see how they deal with it, because things have pretty much gone the UFC's way since the last couple of years, since they were the first ones back during COVID, etc.
And that's the thing, is like, I think that's why we're taking such a hardline stance, or what the UFC is, because they don't want to lose that kind of equity that developed since being one of the first sports back and putting on some type of like sports entertainment, while the rest of the world, or the US, was just like, hey, we're not doing anything right now. It's like, you know what, fuck this, we're going to figure out a way to get this done. And now they're losing some of that integrity. In Canada, I mean, fucking blame Canada, right? To take a South Park.
Canada is not welcome in the sanctum of truth, by the way.
It's just like, you know what? We can't trust the UFC. We're going to ban all betting because of one fucking person. If the UFC says like, hey, this person and their fighters that train at this gym are not going to be competing, why would you take such a hardline stance? I mean, that's just indicative of what Canada does.
Yeah, fair.
Canada like says, they see something that happens in a small margin of a certain sector and goes, you know what, the whole sector is banned.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I personally, I think James Krause is a good coach. But what Aaron said is true. Like, hey man, just fucking stop coaching and just bet on UFC. And then what you said, Dom, is also true. Like, probably the reason why he's successful is the way he does, is that he does have some insider information. There has to be some type of network between like coaches and camps and like just talking.
Of course,
and the fact that he's at like fight week and he gets to see all this stuff that we don't get to see, is like, oh, so and so is like, he's definitely not 100%. So I'm betting on him to lose, or I'm betting on somebody to finish it. I don't know, like,
and they know a lot of
sucks.
They know the same massage therapists, nutritionists. Like, there's so many different people who could have information that can make money off of it in this way.
This would be like a pitching coach watching their starter warm up and be like, oh, his slider is not sliding today. And then running into the clubhouse and texting a bookie like, hey, put 50 grand on Seattle or whatever, because they're gonna light this fucking guy up.
Right.
They know that stuff.
It's always the Angels.
If you listen to, yes, it is. If you listen to, and you know what, the Angels are the team that would be caught up in a scandal like this. So Yeah, where does fucking Garrett Cole get all of his sticky stuff? From an Angels Clubhouse guy. Whatever. I'll just go fuck myself over here while I try to come up with $2.2 billion to buy the fucking team. Anyway, there's some podcasts where professional athletes are like more candid than other times, and they know they'll say like, oh yeah, I know for sure when the St. Louis Cardinals show up, I'm getting shelled. It's just the way it goes. Or they'll say like, yeah, we get the schedule and we look at our 17 NFL games and we circle the ones we know we're going to win. We circle the ones we know we're going to lose. And we try to figure out the margins. It's just, they're not dumb. Like, no, they put on the confident front, but they know when someone else is better than them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's just the way it is.
I'm very curious as to how it will all work out. I wonder what all the investigations will reveal about the hidden network. And if
we probably won't hear too much of it.
I wonder if other coaches will become involved, you know, like Eugene Behrman is one of the Discord members, you know, like, holy fuck, what's going to happen, you know? So I'm curious kind of to see where it goes.
Should I close the sanctum doors?
Wait.
Yeah.
Was Eugene Behrman really one of the people on the Discord?
No, I'm just making that
up.
Like,
what the
who
fuck?
knows?
That's a hypothetical, yeah.
Just like who knows what coaches at which camps are in it. You know,
right.
So the investigation will show so much. I'm
he
very curious.
He needs to make a choice, and then I would, like you said, I would probably highly lean into going back to that, right? And just fully betting on MMA.
Be a new guy.
It also shows to some extent, or we will find out, I suppose, because Brandon Moreno's, you know, pretty high profile. The simple fact is Sean O'Malley can get away with stuff that, say, Jack Shore. I'm just literally choosing two people from bantamweight, except that it's true. Sean O'Malley can get away with stuff that Jack Shore can't. Jack Shore is 14th in bantamweight. No one's heard of him. Sean O'Malley is a huge star. The rules are different for him.
Jack Shore is awesome.
But he doesn't have the same rules as Sean O'Malley.
True.
You know, if Patrick Mahomes is late to practice, that actually just means that practice started at this other time. But the seventh receiver on the list gets cut.
Because
not everybody has. And here's the thing, that's okay because you aren't Patrick Mahomes. Mm-hmm. That's just the way it is. Unfortunately, be on time to practice, I suppose.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Fun stuff. Fun things. We should probably make picks.
Yes. Picks.
Let's
And now it's time for the Pretty Neat Podcast picks.
Yeah. Oh, fun things. This Saturday, December 10th, from the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada, UFC 282 will happen. Lots of fun fights on it. All the way from the early prelims up to the main event, which will crown a new light heavyweight champion in the UFC to fill the vacant title at 205. That fight between Jan Blachowicz and Magomed Ankalaev will be fantastic. But let's look at some of these early prelims first. Fight Pass, fun things. Some bantamweights, Cameron Saman, Steven Kozlow, Vinicius Salvador.
People.
Yeah, right. Two shadow
Vinicius?
people. Vinicius? What a fucking cool name.
My name is Vinicius. I am so Vinicius.
Yeah, Vinicius Salvador. He was definitely a Slytherin with a name like that.
Absolutely. I mean, whatever the equivalent of the South American Hogwarts Academy.
Yeah. Oh, there probably is one.
Which, by the way, like we're doing a rewatch right now because Harry Potter is kind of synonymous with Christmas time, since like the school year goes through Christmas.
Sure.
We just finished Chamber of Secrets.
Mm-hmm.
I'm feeling the spirit right now.
Yeah.
Feeling so good.
Vinicius Salvador. He's right there.
You're
with
saying
you.
that sounds like a Harry Potter name?
Yeah.
It's definitely Vinicius and not Vinicius.
Yeah.
I like Vinicius.
Very true.
but I mean, it is like it. We would definitely put him into the Slytherin house, right? If he were being sorted right now.
Yeah. With a name like that, for sure. He's fighting Daniel Da Silva, another Brazilian.
Yeah, TJ Brown looks like he came straight out of the late 90s with that fuckboy haircut and dye job. Like, Jesus Christ, dude.
There used to be a different fighter named Downtown TJ Brown. You remember him?
No. All I can see is this guy's fucking head.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Get back to 98 Degrees or whatever that band was.
It was 98 Degrees. And that dude, now that he's married to his now wife, did you know, fun fact, like off the topic, that they have the same birthday?
Who? Nick Lachey?
Nick Lachey and Vanessa Lachey, not born on the exact same day, but they were born on the same day in the year.
Yeah, that's a nice coincidence.
Yeah, how about that? And this guy, TJ Brown, reminds me of the band 98 Degrees and also of Jessica Simpson, because Nick Lachey was originally married to.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have two things for you.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Do it.
We talked about like 2004 Lindsay Lohan, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Jessica Simpson. Peak Lohan. Jessica Simpson circa like 2003.
3-4.
2002 maybe. When was peak Jessica Simpson?
3-4.
It was definitely like
God.
2000s.
Jessica Simpson 2002 on this Dream Chaser cover. I don't know what Dream Chaser is, but
Dream Wetter cover, you mean?
I don't know.
Put her on the list.
It might be called the Jessica Simpson list. She was on the cover of Maxim in 2000. January 2002, and my God, Jessica Simpson. Anyway, where were we? Billy Q and Alex H.
Yeah, Billy Q, Alex Hernandez. That'll be a brawl. I like that one. I would take Billy Q in that. I just like his grappling a little bit better. Action Man Chris Curtis is back. He's fighting Joaquin Buckley. That'll be an adventure. I think the odds might have that one wrong. Joaquin's currently a flip favorite, minus 155. I actually like Chris Curtis in this one. I think Chris Curtis gets this done soundly.
This is weird because neither of them is actually, like, Chris Curtis is not the 15th best middleweight in the world. He's just happens to be ranked there.
Yeah. I think he'll do well in this one.
Okay.
Edmund Shabazian coming back.
Edmund Shabazian and Jack Hermanson are the same person.
Yeah, they very well might be. They just transition face a little bit.
Ryan, what's the Stone beer?
Stone IPA.
Yeah. Again,
OG.
That's a Mount Rushmore. It really doesn't get better.
Beauty. Paul Rosas Jr.,
that's
youngest
the guy
UFC
who was
fighter.
signed at 17.
Nice.
Yep.
Now he's 18.
Another fighter out of Mexico too.
And now he's fighting somebody he's probably going to beat. But did you guys watch his?
He's hungry.
Did you guys watch his fight?
He's hungry.
Couldn't tell you. Maybe I did. I don't remember.
He's hungry. And he's pretty sound. I mean, complete MMA. If he can go in there and keep it together and has that same hunger, he'll win.
Yeah, I'm concerned about watching his contenders fight. Him overcommitting or being too overly aggressive because he's fucking 18. That somebody is just going to be composed and be able to capitalize on that.
Little Chase Hooper action.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Could happen.
But I think what they're doing is they're matching him appropriately to where he's probably going to win this fight. And I would probably bet on that. But that's my concern, is that you got somebody with a not fully developed prefrontal cortex.
That's wild to think about. Now, and he's going to get punched in it.
He's getting punched, and then like this is what he wants to do. And I think he'll win, but I'm concerned about his immediate future.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think they're developing him. I think they're going to put him against good competition for him. But I think they'll take it a little slower. I don't think they want to.
Bantamweight is a tough place to be.
Dude,
yeah, it is.
It is.
Good
It
luck,
is a
guy.
piranable.
Good luck.
It is a piranable.
Mm-hmm.
Jairzinho versus Chris
Isn't this
Daukaus.
one not happening?
Heavyweight.
Or OSP isn't happening?
OSP is not happening.
Okay.
Yeah. This is a
Over
fun
under
one.
3.5 minutes on this fight.
Over.
Okay.
I'm going
I think
over.
over, and I think Chris Daukaus wins it.
I do too. I
You
think
like the dog there. Interesting.
Yeah, I think Chris Daukaus is going to find a way to finish it towards the end of the
I mean,
second.
it's not crazy. Yeah.
No. Chris Daukaus, his brother maybe more so than Chris, has a way better ground game, but Jairzinho's he's a one-trick pony, whereas Chris Daukaus can actually grapple. So as long as he avoids the one-shot hit, then I think Daukaus wins this fight. And that's not a ringing endorsement for Daukaus. He's not the best fighter ever, but he's better than Jairzinho. He's definitely not
true.
the best fighter ever.
Yeah,
Weird.
I do think you're right though. He's
not,
better
not
than
I'm not too bold right there in stating that.
Okay.
no, but I think you're spot on though that he's Daukaus is just he's got it. He's more complete.
Dude, the main card though is like a fucking diehard's delight.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. It is a diehard's delight. That is such a good way to say it.
Moving into that main card, it opens with Bryce Mitchell, number 9, Ilia Topuria, number 14.
Give me Bryce Mitchell. Does that say plus 145 or 105?
115.
Plus 115.
Yeah, give me that all
on
day.
UFC. I think the same thing. I think if
No
this
way.
winds up,
I think
Ilia's-
Topuria knocks him the fuck out.
That's the problem I have is that like Ilia could put Bryce away if this stays up, but fights will kind of find their way to the ground. A club and sub is not going to work for Ilia in this.
No, a club and sub does not work. Topuria has fought at 155, but he is a beast at 145. He is huge for that weight
Okay.
class. And if Bryce Mitchell cannot take him down, which I don't think he's going to be able to do, Topuria is going to fuck him up.
Hey, I might jump on that train with you because like Ilia, I can see that happening. Like that's exactly how I see it happening for Ilia if that's what happens. I just get pulled into that. Fights end up on the ground, but
Yeah,
this one
and
might
look-
not.
Let's be honest. I think Bryce Mitchell on the ground is a smothering force.
Yes, he
His
is.
ability to just control movement
Mhm.
and
And
put
threaten.
people in the worst possible position to where he can just work his ground and pound, which is developing. It's not necessarily his strong suit, but his ability to smother their ability to sweep, get back to their feet. He puts them in bad positions.
Yep.
He works for submissions pretty consistently. His problem is his ability to take people down is not great. And the way that he does that has been through some of the stand-up, which is
3.4 takedowns per 15 minutes. Isn't that terrible?
He trips.
not terrible, but I mean, notwithstanding his last fight, his level of competition
Nah.
isn't the best.
Well, I was just looking at that. Neither is Topuria's though.
Yeah.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong, but
This is definitely the biggest challenge for both of them, except that Bryce fought Edson Barbosa, but well past his prime.
Yeah.
and
I-
Edson Barbosa, we know, is like he's a stand-up fighter.
Mhm.
And he's also shown the ability to be taken down and put into oblivion, a la God.
Gaethje.
No, not Gaethje. I mean, he did that against Gaethje too, but I'm thinking of
Khabib.
Khabib. Yes, thank you.
Edson
Khabib
Barbosa got ragdolled by Khabib in a way that I've never seen before.
Right. And he was telling him, like,
It was so
I
aggressive.
must beat you. I must beat you. I must win the title. I think Ilia Topuria, the fighters coming out of Georgia are just next level. We saw We saw it just last week with Roman Dolidze.
Mm-hmm.
We are seeing it with the gentleman out of the New Jersey camp that I can't think of right now. Punch a hole in his chest. The Georgian who fights at 135.
Merab
Devashvili.
Yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
These are all Georgian fighters. They're almost like the next wave of Dagestanis, even though the wave of Dagestanis is still oncoming.
Mm-hmm.
It's still an onslaught of Dagestanis right now, but I feel like Ilia Topuria is going to make a pretty big statement in this fight.
That'd be great. I'd love that. I think it'd be fun. Regardless, it's a great matchup. I think that's a good style matchup, and I think it will be fun because it'll have that element like when Charles fought Gaethje.
It's a great main card opener.
It is. I was just going to say that.
If Ilia fucks up once in trying to demolish Bryce Missile and goes to the ground, there's opportunity for an upset, and I love that.
We're going to see a third twister, right, from Bryce Mitchell.
Mm-hmm. I can only hope so.
If it goes to the ground, Bryce Mitchell, he's a fish in water.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise,
yeah,
I have concerns.
Yeah, I think you're on it. I think Ilia could get that done. Anyway, moving up to the next fight, middleweight, Darren the Gorilla Till fighting Dricus du Plessis. That'll be what's gonna happen to Darren?
Have either of you seen Embedded yet?
No,
I have not.
It's not the best, right? They don't have the best personality. They're really leaning into Paddy pretty hard. Darren Till's coach, though, in episode 2, called him, and I quote, the best of the best.
Mm-hmm.
And okay. I don't get that.
I don't particularly either. So I actually think this is a pretty even match myself.
I actually think Dricus runs through Darren Till.
Really? Just runs through him?
Certainly could happen.
I think
Dricus is a very aggressive fighter.
Mm-hmm.
And he's also, I think, going to be the much larger fighter, given that Darren was fighting previously at 170, even though he was really more well-suited for 185. Mm-hmm. Dricus looks like a light heavyweight. And Dricus, with his level of aggression and in his previous fight, his ability to take damage and be able to return that, I feel like he's just going to... It's not a good fight for Darren, in my opinion, coming back from a long layoff from injury to fight an action fighter as Dricus is, and his aggressiveness and is willing to press the issue, press the pace. I see Dricus winning this via stoppage. I actually think it might be early too.
So you have to go back to 2017 when Darren Till beat Cowboy, and then 2018 when he beat Wonder Boy to go to like when Darren Till was the new hotness.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Since then, he lost to Woodley Masvidal. He beat Gastelum, lost to Robert Whittaker, lost to Derek Brunson. Like, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't.
He's
either.
the sacrificial lamb. If we don't have Darren Till, we can't have Islam Makhachev or Sean O'Malley or any of these other kind of up and comers that they've or probably ultimately Bo Nickel. These guys that they've handled correctly, whereas Darren Till was not handled correctly.
Yeah, Darren Till was fast tracked before he ever really could have accommodated that level of competition.
Yeah, which is a shame.
Yeah, I think this will either be a reignition for Darren or a real platform for.
Plus, he also had that
off.
weird thing where he wasn't his girlfriend really sick, and then he got her tattooed on his neck, but they'd only been together for like 3 weeks or something strange. There's something weird behind it. There's something weird.
He's an interesting fellow. I will say that.
Definitely. Another interesting fellow is Robbie Lawler, who was supposed to be fighting Santiago Ponzinibbio, this next fight on the card. But Lawler had to pull out, and Alex Morono is stepping in. I like Alex Morono. Santiago has been looking great, though. I think this is a too much of a step for Alex. This should be pretty one-sided for Santiago, and it should be a mauling. Like it really should be. But Alex is surprising. I would never say no to Alex. I mean, he beat Donald Cerrone, kicked the shit out of him. You know,
Alex
end,
Morono is a gamer, right?
He is.
He's up for the challenge.
Yep. He's like Ally Quinta in a lot of ways.
Yeah, no, that's a good comparison actually, because he's always coming in, he's ready to fight, he's gonna press the action. At welterweight, I would say Alex Morono looks really soft.
He does.
Like if he was on a really good like strength conditioning / diet, he could probably make 155. Santiago Ponzinibbio, on the other hand, is somebody who's huge for the division, and I could see fighting at 185. The only caveat I have here is that Santiago was out of the fighting game for some time, right? With extended injury. And when he came back, he's had a mixed result.
Yeah, he got Rob Fonted to death. Rob Font jabbed him to death.
No, Rob Font was at 135. So that's like a huge difference.
I'm thinking of somebody else then.
Ponzinibbio?
Yeah.
Are you thinking of Jeff Neal or Neil Magny?
One of them, I think.
Yeah, one of them. I think it was actually Neil Magny.
It was Jeff Neal. Yeah, it was Jeff Neal. December 11th, 2021. That was my birthday. Yeah.
Hey.
Well, it still is my birthday, but that was on my birthday.
Hey, you too. I forget that you guys are a week apart.
It was Jeff. Ryan, when is yours, or when was yours?
The 19th.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do dual. Next week is a birthday episode, and the week after that.
2 weeks. It's a birthday month. That's what we do for my wife. We do a birthday month. Because
when is her birthday?
Spoiled. June.
Yeah.
See, my wife could really care less about her birthday, and every year I'm like, one year though, I did send her and my sister to Waco, Texas to see all the Chip and Joanna Gaines stuff. And that was a win for me.
My wife's also in June. They're not the same day, and we never knew, right?
Would that be the 18th?
Holy shit, that was close. The 9th.
Okay.
I thought you were gonna say the 8th.
Geminis, though, they're a unique breed.
They're gonna die twice.
Yes, they are. Good luck, Alex. I'm cheering for you.
Why is that fight third?
Because
on the main card,
it was
supposed to be Lawler.
That should change. Honestly, that should change because it was Robbie Lawler to be in the feature bout.
Yep. And you know what? Lawler would have been a better fight. That would have been a much more compelling match, like Lawler and Santiago and Ponzinibbio. But I like.
But we
Morono.
also have to take into account that the main event wasn't originally the main event. That was the co-main. So everything's getting moved up.
Yes, true.
That's true. Moving up into the co-main, the now co-main, Paddy the Baddy Pimblett.
Your new favorite fighter without TJ Dillashaw.
You're 100% right. Is fighting Jared /Gordan.
You love Paddy.
What are you talking about?
Do you not?
No.
You are Baddy for Paddy.
I feel like you are the reason I know about. I mean, I would know about him, but
Jordan. Well, I've known about Paddy for years.
You are the one who introduced me to him. Okay, on this very show.
That is fair. Years before Paddy was in the UFC, I was like, Paddy's coming. He's gonna be huge. While he was fighting in the UK.
We're all just kind of pretending that he's a big star, but carry on.
Yeah, but he's definitely not my favorite fighter, but he's been on my radar.
Right, Adrian Yanez is, or whatever the fuck.
Probably.
It's ridiculous.
This is a fun one though. Jared Gordan is not to be fucked with.
I think Jared Gordon's gonna beat him.
I don't think that's impossible. I don't. I picked Jordan Levitt, remember, against Paddy last time. But Jared Gordan, I like what they're doing with Paddy, giving him nice steps. I think this is a competitive match. I really do. I'm gonna pick Jared though. I am
hammering that plus 210. That's a good value bet. Because Paddy's getting the public money.
And I think he finishes it. I think he finishes the fight.
Really?
Yeah. I do. I think he knocks him out.
Whichever way it goes, it's a finish.
Yeah, I think it's a knockout. And I think Jared's going to do it.
Paddy says he's going to finish him in the first round.
He has not lied so far. He said he was going to teabag Jordan Levitt, and he did. So
the problem is that Paddy gets hit. His striking defense is poor. It's very poor. That's not what Jared Gordon's game is. And that's why I think that Paddy's going to win. Is he's going to eventually get himself into a scramble position where he gets the back. That's where he's most dominant.
Yep. He's going to try and submit him, club and sub.
Yeah, because Jared's going to decision 6 out of 10 times.
Yep.
Where Paddy's not, and Paddy is going to get hit. He's definitely going to get hit just by the way that Jared is able to throw strikes. But I also think that Paddy's going to get himself into an advantageous position and be able to finish the fight. That I think it's going to be a submission.
Okay.
Probably second round for Paddy.
Yeah. I can see that. Do you think he has to survive a blitz?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think you are correct. I love the plus 210. I kind of do think Paddy by submission is how it goes. I just think the value is in plus 210. It's weird to me to think about Paddy being in the same division as guys like Oliveira, Poirier, Gaethje, Dariush, and Michael Chandler, because any one of them would fucking annihilate him.
Yeah.
And I kind of want to see that.
Yeah.
Like, talk about surviving a blitz. Paddy against Michael Chandler. My God.
Yeah, he would be destroyed.
Gone.
You cannot. We keep saying Paddy gets hit. That stops working really quick in this division. Paddy against Jalen Turner, our guy Jalen Turner. Like,
yep.
Woo,
dude, Jalen Turner's coming on, and Jalen Turner is going to probably be a problem for most everyone in lightweight.
I actually think Jalen Turner is a problem for Islam. I think stylistically in his body type.
Even Rafael Fiziev is in this conversation.
Yeah, and Mateus Gamrot and Beneil Dariush. Even Dan Hooker. Dan Hooker looked fucking great in his last fight.
You know what? If Paddy wins this fight, he should fight Drakkar Close next.
And Drakkar would fuck him up.
And I think Drakkar would fuck him up. But that would be a test because Drakkar is not that high. I think that
the UFC just has to be careful with this with Paddy. Really, it's what's the plan?
Yep.
Because Paddy he has been very open. He will not take a short notice fight. He makes more money outside of the octagon than inside the octagon. He's a Barstool sports guy. Barstool, we're for sale. Yep. You need a good MMA show. We should be that show.
Yes, we should.
We'll do it for less money than you think we will. What's the plan for Paddy?
We'll pay Barstool.
Because as it stands, in fact, you can call this a Barstool show. You don't even have to pay us. Just put us on the platform. As it stands, Paddy has exactly zero chance really against anyone in the top 10. Paddy against Islam is like fucking laughable. Whereas Bo Nickel against Israel Adesanya is not laughable.
No, not yet. No.
I'm not saying he'd beat him. I'm saying it's not crazy. And
he was supposed to be on this card.
And
too.
Sure as shit, Bo Nickel would fuck up Darren Till, who is the 10th rated fighter in middleweight. So the Paddy thing is weird. Is he just going to kind of be this character that the UFC has that kind of is always the featured co-main and he promotes himself and that's great?
Yeah, he's a Sugar Sean without the title contention.
Well, Sugar Sean is going to be the champion in that division eventually. So that's the difference.
Take out that.
Sugar Sean beating Aljamain Sterling is not crazy. Paddy Pimblett beating Islam is like fucking laughable. Islam would be like a plus or rather minus 1,500 favorite or more.
But Paddy would be equally as entertaining on social media and draw a lot of people. And like, I think he would be.
I guess.
He's a personality, he's out there. He has the star quality. Like he has what Ian Gary is missing. Like Ian Gary was the new Irish Conor McGregor.
Ian Gary's a good fighter though.
Great fighter. But his personality is produced. He's acting like the person he's trying to be. Paddy Pimblett's him. Paddy Pimblett's natural charisma.
Yes.
He's a natural character. He'll be an actor and a representative for the UFC. And I think that's okay. but they got to give him appropriate fights that are challenging so that people respect him as much as they're entertained.
In an ideal situation, Jared Gordan challenges him, but Paddy wins, right?
Yeah.
That's what the UFC wants.
Yeah.
And I'm not totally against that. We got to figure out Paddy's hair.
Yeah, he's got to do something about that fucking bowl or whatever it is.
And the whole ballooning up to like 230 thing,
Yeah, long-term.
Can you imagine
here?
So then what happens? Paddy goes up to welterweight or middleweight. Can you imagine? You know what fucking Leon Edwards was due to him? It's not even.
There's a lot of welterweights. Sense. There's a lot. Oh my gosh.
It would just be. I mean,
yeah, I think this should be
Shavkat against Paddy.
Oh my god.
Get the fuck out of here.
Not gonna happen. Not gonna fucking happen. I think this hopefully it's a Paddy show and it does well. I like the entertainment he brings. And Jared Gordan, I don't think is gonna make a big name for himself by beating Paddy Pimblett. Whereas Paddy Pimblett's microphone will only get louder.
I see what you're saying. So, I don't disagree.
It'll be fun. I'm more excited about the new light heavyweight champion potential here.
Okay.
Jan Blachowicz, Magomed Ankalaev, number 2 versus number 3, because Yuri Prohaska's out and Glover said no. So here we are. Does Jan get the belt back?
I think so.
I think he does.
I love that plus 225 too.
I really do too. And Magomed is so smothering. He did have the loss to Paul Craig that we talked about last week, where he was submitted with 5 seconds left. So I think this has potential. I really do. I think Jan could put him away. This is gonna be 5 rounds. And I think that's in Jan's favor with the experience in 5-round fights. I think the longer it goes, the better it looks for Jan. If he can escape the grappling of Magomed, which I don't know if he can. Fucking Dagestan, man.
That would be interesting to see. I like Jan here. I think Jan hits like a Mack truck. Ankalaev, have we seen him fight someone of this caliber? Not really.
He beat up Anthony Smith. He beat him up.
Anthony Smith is not as good of a fighter as Jan Blachowicz.
No.
Thiago Santos, Volkan Ozdemir, Nikita Krylov, Jan Kutalaba, Ankalaev again. This is a wait, what? They have on the UFC's website, they have Kutalaba Ankalaev, but they have Kutalaba and
should be on there twice.
Did they fight twice in a row?
Yeah, first one was a no contest because
sorry, I'm all the way through this bottle.
That was Kutalaba playing coy.
Yeah. And then the West
I'll play coy with you.
But I mean, you look at Blachowicz though. I mean, come on, he lost to Glover.
No shame there.
And he lost the belt. And that was the first time he had lost since Thiago Santos Sledgehammer in 2019. And I mean, look at that. He beat Luke Rockhold. He beat Jacare. He beat Anderson, Corey Anderson. He beat Reyes. He beat Israel Adesanya. And then he lost to Glover. I think
but people, including us, thought he was going to beat Glover. So
yeah. And then Rakic was that injury. The leg injury.
Yep, that's right.
Rakic was looking good in that fight, though.
He was.
Yeah, Rakic is a good fighter. Rakic is a good fighter.
Yeah.
So there is no. This could very easily be if Rakic's leg was working, right? Wasn't it a leg injury?
Could be a loss. Yeah.
This could be Rakic Ankalaev or Ankalaev.
Yep.
Not 100%. It could be that. So
yeah. So Ryan,
honestly, I think that's what the UFC wanted.
Yeah. What do you think happens?
And Ankalaev?
How does this play?
Yeah. With no disrespect to Polish power, I think if Ankalaev deploys his strengths, which is the wrestling, the grappling, it's going to be his victory. Yeah. And then he's going to fight
Fury?
Blachowicz. No, he's going to fight Blachowicz. I'm sorry, Teixeira.
Okay.
Why am I saying Blachowicz?
Mhm.
He's going to fight Glover
Yeah.
in the next fight because Yuri is going to be out for at least a year.
Yeah.
Right. Based on what his
Glover
injury said it was, he's going to be out for a year.
Yeah. Probably International Fight Week. Probably July. Glover
Right.
and
God, International Fight
Magomed.
Week is shaping up to be a fucking banger next year.
And the problem is that the Glover is going to be what, 42, 42 and a half.
Father time.
I respect the fact that he declined the fight because of prep time. I don't want him to go in there and not get the best representation of Glover because I firmly believe for him, he feels this fight is his last fight. So he wants to go out, represent himself the best way possible. And if he wins the fight and he's like, you know what, I'm out and I retired as the champion. Like that's John Elway shit right there.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Well, I mean, you win the belt and you lose it and you win it right back. That's a great way.
There are names I will not have mentioned on this show.
You're not a fan of retiring as champion, John Elway?
Why are you a John Elway fan?
I'm not a John Elway fan. I'm just saying that's John Elway shit.
Of all the people who retired as champion, John Elway is the name you have?
Well, he retired as back-to-back champ in his last 2 years in the NFL and then decided to call it quits. That's pretty impressive.
All right.
Can't think of any on the top of my head that retired as champs. At least not in football. But shit, I think that'd be a good
really
story
good
for Glover.
All-time players.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good story for Glover. You know,
I agree.
You get up there, you win the belt in a submission against the champ, and then you lose it in a great fight with Yuri.
Classic.
Shit.
He should have won. He could have. He should have won that fight.
If that goes to decision, he does win for sure.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think, you're on it. He's gonna pose a really great challenge to either Blachowicz or Ankalaev.
If you add an additional wrinkle to that, if he has to fight Blachowicz, let's say Blachowicz hits Ankalaev with a right hand or a left hand
and the lights go out.
He does that
because that's what happens
to a lot of people. That's what he does.
Yeah. He's got
Polish
9 wins by
power.
submission though.
We already know that Teixeira has a proven record against Blachowicz. And he even said that, like, hey, I'd be willing to fight Blachowicz on short notice.
But not Magomed.
But, you wanted me to fight Ankalaev? I can't do that.
Yeah.
Well, and it really should have been Blachowicz to share because they're 2 and 3. So if Yuri can't fight, that only makes sense.
Yeah.
And then you give Ankalaev some other light heavyweight and just let him.
Yeah. But Ankalaev was they've had him on that trajectory for a long time. So he's his loss to Paul Craig was so unexpected. And so I think that him being in this spot is where they wanted him to be.
The thing is, any light heavyweight or heavyweight could get submitted by Paul Craig on any given day.
Yeah.
So that's not even that weird. I see this either Ankalaev makes it look easy or Blachowicz surprises people who aren't us. I don't see this as being some sort of close back and forth.
Yeah.
It's going to be a clear winner one way or the other.
Yeah. I don't even think the fight goes all 5 rounds.
No, probably not.
But shit. Well, I mean, so Dominic and I, we both kind of lean in the Jan way. But like Ryan said, which I think you're right, it should be, it kind of should be a mauling by Magomed with the grappling. He should be able to overpower him and do the Dagestani thing.
It just depends on the game plan, right?
Yeah,
whether or not
really
that's what he wants to do.
Mm-hmm.
Jan has shown pretty good defensive grappling and offensive grappling, but against smaller competition.
Yeah.
Whereas Magomed,
same size.
He's a big boy.
Yeah. That's gonna be a good card, gents. I gotta say, the UFC 282 is gonna be a good one this weekend. And my wife is going to be hanging out with a friend. She's having a ladies' night. So I'm going to be watching the fights. Pants are off.
Yes, it's ladies' night.
No pants.
No
Oh,
pants.
what a night.
I'm getting on Discord or chat with you guys while the fights are on. I'm going to make some salty pretzels and some cheese or something. I don't know.
We are doing Christmas with my wife's family on Saturday. And then Sunday, we are heading to Anaheim, where we will spend the night in a hotel, and then Monday at Disneyland as sort of our annual. My wife's parents and us have a sort of Christmas time Disneyland tradition. And then her brother and her sister and their spouses are coming this time too.
Nice.
And you heard it here first. I really doubt my in-laws, who I don't even think know about this show, listen. My wife's brother's wife is also pregnant, so they are due a week from each other, so they will not be writing anything and eating all the snacks, and I will be writing everything because that's what I do. And so I will have the fights on in the background while we do like our Christmas thing.
Cool.
And trying to marginally pay attention to the Christmas thing because I'm more interested in the fights. So I want to close on this. I went to SoFi on Sunday.
Yeah, SoFi Stadium. What was it like?
I don't even know what it was like. I was going to love it. I had decided I was going to love it before I went there. And then I got there and I was like, oh my God, people came up with this? How did... Everything about it is so well thought out and so well organized and so well spaced. I can't say, and I mean, and then you're like, oh, this is what $5 billion buys you. Got it. Now I understand the levels that exist in this world. And it was fucking ridiculous. It doesn't even.
Hey, well, aren't you guys going to go there on the first day of 2023?
I mean,
maybe we have to go.
It's already happened. I've already purchased tickets. So
you what?
Well, there you go. Ryan got y'all tickets.
Happy Christmas.
No, not happy Christmas. We will sort that out later. Hey, the question I have for you then is, are you ready for the Baker Mayfield experience?
Hell yeah, I am. I mean,
Fuck
Baker Mayfield. Let's go. Let's go Oklahoma.
That's right.
Let's go Oklahoma.
So it's a good move for two reasons, right? Because John Wolford is a joke, and
their third string is just a option.
Is a rookie. Yeah, he's a wildcat guy is really what he is.
Yeah.
But they keep him from going to the 49ers, which is just a petty sort of like fuck you move that the Rams do because they don't like the 49ers. And when he signs somewhere else as a free agent, him being Baker, the Rams get a compensatory pick. Smart move all around.
Yeah.
Hey. Yeah, and did you see that Garoppolo avoided Liz Frank injuries so he could come back in the playoffs?
Yeah, that's an interesting thing. Now tell me this, Ryan. Are the Chargers good or do they suck? Which one is it? Okay.
Okay.
So they are on the playoff bubble, it seems.
They'd have to win out, and
they have to win out.
They would have to win out because think of who is in their way for a wild card. The Jets, who won. The Jets are good. Miami's good. Right?
Yes.
Baltimore's winning their division. But Cincinnati's in the same division, and Cincinnati is also good.
They're both 8-4.
Offensive juggernaut, I would say.
Joe Shiesty.
New England was in that conversation. They're not really a threat.
Well, New England right now has the tiebreaker over the Chargers because of win percentage in their conference.
Right. The conference is the bigger factor. So the Chargers play the Dolphins this upcoming Sunday, which is a huge game. Every game is a huge game for the Chargers because they put themselves in this position.
Yeah.
And they wanted to be more comfortable by beating the Raiders, which they didn't, which is ridiculous. But at the same time, like the culmination of injuries and just ineptitude with the Chargers led them to this position. And just, there's a lot of hype at the beginning of the season. This could be their year. Their offensive line, which took a lot of hits, their starting left tackle, which was all pro as a rookie, is out for the season because of torn bicep. Their all pro center is out here and there. They don't have a right tackle. That's garbage. Their linebacking core is garbage. They can't stop the run to save their goddamn life. The people that they've released, who are now on the Raiders, are thriving and flourishing in that system. So that might just be improper scheme talent, but also could just be improper coaching. I don't know. They suck. They suck. They suck, and they're always going to suck. They haven't won a championship since 1963 when it was just the AFL. They're just garbage. What are they going to do? They're immensely talented. They have a huge payroll. They have a young coach. They can't win a fucking game. Everything they do when it comes down to certain decisions, they fucking fumble that. They're garbage. They suck. They are just pieces of shit, and they're always going to lose because of the Chargers. And every time that they have hope and they have young talent and you feel like there is a glimmer for the future, they just take a giant dump on your chest, and there you are left with cleaning up the mess.
Well,
unfortunately for the Chargers, I don't know that Brandon Staley is the answer, because on paper there is no reason that this team isn't winning, at least at a better sort of percentage than they currently do. They have an absolute solid gold, worth the moon and the stars quarterback. I don't think running backs are worth. Running backs are a dime a dozen, but Austin Eckler is as good as they come. Keenan Allen is a completely serviceable sort of first option. He's not Devontae Adams, who is on just a different planet.
He's so good.
I mean, Devontae Adams makes Derek Carr look like a, I don't know. I don't know about the Chargers. I'm excited to see SoFi as a Chargers home game and kind of see what the differences there are. Don't underestimate what a guy like Sean McVay can do with a guy with Baker Mayfield's talent, because he has something. The Rams don't. Every good player they have is hurt. So except Bobby Wagner, who went fucking nuts on Sunday, and the Rams could not figure out how to win the game for him. But that's going to be a good time. So I got to tell you what we did, Ryan. We drove. The Rams sent out an email on Saturday that was like, "Hey, you have tickets, and here's where you should do for parking." We drove to a lot in Gardena that is just past Cerritos. We got on a shuttle. It took us. We paid $3 to park the car and $4 each for the two of us to ride the shuttle round trip. So $11 total, and it was glorious.
Nice.
There was no traffic getting to the lot. There was no traffic coming home from the lot. Getting to the shuttles from the stadium was perfect. It was the way to go.
Nice. Is SoFi the outro for today then?
SoFi Stadium is an achievement of human architecture and engineering, and I literally don't understand how a person or group of people sat down with a piece of paper and made that happen. Kind of a cool little complex they've got developing there. The Clippers Stadium is being built, and
Nice.
SoFi Stadium 2024.
Yeah, you know why I love MMA so much? It's pretty neat. That is 100% true, but it's also because it brings us together. You know what? Violence really does bring people